Welcome back to Energize Your Passion. I'm your host, Sunshine, and today's episode is all about changing your focus from what's going wrong to what's going right. We all have these days, or even weeks, where it feels like nothing is going as planned. Maybe we're stressed, stuck, or just can't seem to stop thinking about the negatives. But what if I told you there's a way to break that cycle and bring more positive energy into your life? In today's episode, we're going to dive into the power of focus and why shifting it from the negative to the positive can change everything. We'll talk about why our minds naturally get stuck on the negative, the incredible benefits of choosing to focus on what's right, and I'll share practical tips you can start using today to create a more positive outlook. Along the way, we'll hear from listeners who've made this shift and seen a real difference. Grab your favorite beverage, get comfy, and let's get started. And remember, every moment is a new opportunity to choose where we place our focus. Segment number 1. Why our minds focus on what's wrong. I want to start with something we can all relate to, that tendency to zero in on the negative. Why is it that when we have a great day with just one minor setback, our minds keep replaying that one negative moment? Or why is it that we're more likely to remember criticism than praise? It turns out there's a science behind this. Our minds are actually wired to focus on the negative, thanks to what's known as the negativity bias. This goes back to our earliest days as humans, when our ancestors had to be on high alert for danger to survive. For them, paying more attention to threats like predators or food shortages was essential. Fast forward to today, and we're still carrying around this ancient survival mechanism, even though for most of us, the threats we face are a little less life-threatening. But here's the thing. While this bias was useful in the past, it often keeps us stuck in stress cycles now. This can make us feel constantly on edge, which drains our energy and keeps us from enjoying the good things in life. But just being aware of this tendency can help us start to overcome it. I heard from one of our listeners, Lisa, who shared that she was constantly stressed at work, always thinking about the things that went wrong during the day. One evening, her young son looked at her and said, "Mom, did anything good happen today?" That innocent question was a light bulb moment for Lisa. She realized she had been so focused on the negative that she wasn't even seeing the positives in her day. Then there's Malik, who used to get stressed whenever he checked his finances, focusing only on potential problems. He started a new habit where each morning he listed 3 things going well in his financial life. This small change helped him shift his perspective, and he began feeling more empowered and less stressed. The negativity bias is strong, but it doesn't have to control our lives. Take this week to observe your own patterns. Each time you catch yourself fixating on something negative, make a mental note. This awareness is the first step towards reclaiming your focus and choosing to see what's right. Let's dive deeper into this idea of negativity bias, something we've all experienced in one way or another. For a lot of us, it's that feeling of having a day that was mostly great. Maybe you crushed it at work, had a fun lunch with a friend, or finally tackle that long overdue task at home. But if just one thing went wrong, maybe a bit of constructive criticism from a colleague, or a small disagreement with a loved one, our mind just can't seem to let it go. We end up replaying that single moment over and over, feeling its weight as though it defines the whole day. The reason we hold on to those negative moments goes back to our ancient survival mechanisms. Thousands of years ago, our ancestors faced very real threats in their daily lives. Missing a sign of danger, a predator lurking nearby, or a sign that food was running out could mean life or death. Evolution favored those who were extra vigilant, which means those who survived was the ones who had an eye for the negative. In the modern world, while this kind of hyper focus on threats doesn't serve us quite the same way, today our threats are more likely to be an upcoming work deadline, a difficult conversation, or a less than perfect review from our boss. But here's the kicker. While the nature of these threats have changed, our brains still interrupt them as something urgent and potentially dangerous. So, when something negative happens, we treat it as a high priority issue, which can feel like we're carrying a weight around, even if it's just a minor stressor. Understanding that this is a deeply ingrained mental pattern is actually liberating. Why? Because it means that if we're experiencing this bias, it doesn't mean we're negative people or that we're doing something wrong. It's simply our brains doing what they're wired to do. But here's the exciting part. With this awareness, we have the power to change our focus intentionally. We don't have to let this bias dictate our emotions or perspectives. Just acknowledging this bias can give us the clarity to start choosing a different response. If we notice that tendency to dwell on something negative, we can gently remind ourselves that it's natural and then redirect our focus to something positive. Think of it as taking back control from the ancient survival-oriented part of our brains and saying, thanks for your input, but I've got this. So how do we start shifting our focus? When we realize our brain is pulling us into negativity, first, simply noticing is a powerful step. Once we see the pattern, we can decide to interrupt it. A great way to do this is by taking a few deep breaths and grounding ourselves. Sometimes just pausing to breathe can create enough mental space to pivot towards something positive. You might even have a short phrase or mantra like, I'm choosing to see the good, that you can say to yourself whenever you find your mind fixated on the negative. Another helpful technique is to keep a small, positive anchor nearby, something like a note or a reminder on your phone or a favorite object that reminds you of something good in your life. When you feel yourself slipping into a negative mindset, take a moment to look at that anchor. These small reminders can be surprisingly powerful in helping us change our focus. Hearing Lisa's story is such a powerful reminder of how our minds can affect even the most routine part of our day. Many of us can probably relate to Lisa, getting so caught up in what went wrong that we overlook all the things that went right. Her son's simple question, Mom, did anything good happen today? Really makes us pause and think about how often we overlook the positive moments. It's a reminder that we can start retraining our minds to see what's good, even if we have to start with just one small positive thing each day. Malik's story adds another layer to this. By taking just a few moments each morning to recognize what was going well in his financial life, he began to feel empowered rather than overwhelmed. That small shift, just 3 things each morning, transformed his mindset. And over time, that helped him experience more positivity and less stress. It's a great example of how small, consistent actions can have a profound effect on our lives. One effective way to begin this journey of shifting our focus is to develop what I like to call an awareness practice. This doesn't have to be a big, time consuming activity. It's simply a habit of checking in with yourself throughout the day and asking, what's my focus right now? If you catch yourself thinking about something negative, pause. Simply pause. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, is there something positive I can focus on instead? This could be something as small as appreciating the weather, being grateful for a nice meal, or acknowledging a recent achievement. If you like, you could even jot down a quick note each time you shift your focus. Over time, these little notes can serve as reminders how often you were able to reclaim your focus and redirect towards the positive. It's like building a personal track record of all the small victories over negativity bias. Another strategy that goes hand in hand with awareness is practicing self-compassion. Sometimes when we catch ourselves in a negative mindset, we might feel frustrated or even judge ourselves for being negative. But remember, this bias is a normal, natural part of being human. Instead of getting upset, try giving yourself a little compassion. Think of it as gently encouraging yourself, as you would a friend, to shift your focus. With practice, self-compassion becomes a powerful tool that keeps us grounded and open to seeing the positive. The negative bias is strong, but the good news is that by taking small steps, we can create a new pattern in our minds. This week, this is what I want you to do. I encourage you to practice observing your focus without judgment. That's right, no judgment. Notice when your mind latches onto something negative, and instead of fighting it, gently shift your attention to something good in your day. Each time you do this, you are strengthening your ability to see the positive, and over time, this will become your new default. So if you find yourself focusing on what's wrong, remember that it's natural and part of being human. But with a little awareness and intention, we can shift our focus and start experiencing more of what's right. This is practice, something that becomes easier over time as we train our minds to see the good. Give it a try this week and see if you notice a difference. And remember, every small step counts in this journey. That's right. Every small step counts in this journey to a more positive mindset. Segment number 2, the benefits of focusing on the positive. All right now, that we understand why our brains have the negativity bias, let's look at what happens when we choose to focus on the positive instead. And this isn't just about positive thinking or ignoring challenges. It's all about actively choosing to give more weight to the good things already in our lives. Research shows that people who regularly focus on what's going right experience some pretty amazing benefits. They have more energy, lower stress levels, better health, and even stronger relationships. Imagine if, instead of starting each day with a stress-filled rush, you begin with a moment of gratitude. Or what if, at the end of each day, you look back and celebrated even the small wins? When we make this shift, It's like opening the door to more joy and resilience instead of feeling constantly weighed down. We start to feel a sense of possibility and hope even on challenging days. One of our listeners, Maya, shared that she began keeping a gratitude journal after hearing about the practice in a previous episode. Each morning, she writes down 3 things that she's grateful for, even if it's something as small as a good cup of coffee. After a few weeks, she noticed her stress was lower and she felt more connected with her friends and family. Then there's David, who owns a small business. Running a business isn't easy, and he found himself constantly stressed. But he made a simple change. At the end of each workday, he lists 3 wins, no matter how small. This practice helped him see progress, even on days that felt difficult, and gave him the motivation to keep going. If focusing on the positive can make us healthier, happier, and more resilient, why not give it a try? I encourage you to start a small gratitude practice. Every morning or evening, write down a few things you're grateful for, no matter how small. See if this habit brings a little more lightness to your days. Let's explore what happens when we make the intentional choice to focus on the positive aspects of our lives. Shifting our attention doesn't mean we ignore challenges or dismiss difficulties, but rather it allows us to balance them out by giving weight to the good that's already present. Imagine if instead of letting small stresses dictate the tone of our day, we cultivate a practice of noticing what's going right. When we prioritize positivity, it's like shifting gears on a bike to make the uphill climb smoother. Research backs up that people who make positivity a regular part of their routine reports more energy, lower stress levels, and a stronger sense of well-being. Not only do they experience better physical health, but their relationships improve as well. When we focus on what's good, we create a ripple effect that can be felt in every corner of our lives. By starting each day with a gratitude or taking a moment to celebrate small wins, we build resilience and a sense of possibility. And when tough times inevitably comes, this positivity acts like a cushion, helping us bounce back with greater ease. On a physical level, a positive mindset has real benefits. Studies show that people who actively focus on the positive have lower blood pressure and a stronger immune response. Positivity helps reduce the production of cortisol, our stress hormone, which is linked to numerous health issues when chronically elevated. Mentally, focusing on the positive rewires our brains to notice and appreciate the good more often, training us to see solutions rather than just problems. There's also a fascinating link between positivity and resilience. When we regularly tune into the good, we're better prepared to handle life challenges. It doesn't mean we'll avoid hardships, but we'll approach them with a lighter spirit, feeling empowered rather than defeated. Our listeners, Maya and David, provided inspiring examples of how a simple gratitude or small wins practice can make a tangible difference. Maya gratitude journal is such a wonderful idea. And what's amazing is that she didn't need to record huge life changing events to feel the benefits. She wrote down simple things like a cozy morning with her coffee or a kind word from a friend. Over time, she realized she was feeling less stressed and more connected to her loved ones. By writing down even the smallest things that made her day better, Maya was constantly training her mind to see what's going well. David's story offers another great example of the power of small shifts. By taking just a few moments at the end of each workday to record 3 wins, he was able to refrain from the way he viewed his business. Instead of feeling burdened by the pressures and challenges that come with being a business owner, David started seeing the progress he was making. This daily practice helped him stay motivated, and even more importantly, it reminded him of the reason he started his business in the first place. It's easy to get lost in the day-to-day grind, but this habit allowed him to celebrate the journey. If focusing on the positive can make us healthier, happier, and more resilient, it's worth giving it a try, right? Yeah, it's worth giving it a try. I encourage you to experiment with a small gratitude practice of your own. This can be as simple as taking a minute each morning or evening to jot down 3 things you're thankful for. They don't have to be big. Maybe it's a smile from a stranger, a task you finally completed, or a favorite song that played on the radio. The goal isn't to overlook challenges, but to balance them out by noticing the good around you. If a gratitude journal isn't your thing, try a different approach. Some people enjoy taking a few moments before bed to reflect on 3 positive moments from their day, just like David does. It doesn't require a journal. You just simply think about these wins as you're winding down for the night. Whatever approach you choose, remember that this is a practice. Yes, this is a practice, meaning it becomes easier the more you do it. Over time, you might find yourself noticing more positives without even trying. Choosing to focus on the positive doesn't mean we're pretending everything is perfect. Nope. It means we're building a life in balance. By recognizing both the joys and the struggles, we're honoring our full experience as human beings. We're training ourselves to respond to difficulties with resilience, and we're filling our lives with gratitude and appreciation. This week, take a few moments each day to see what's going right, whether it's a moment of gratitude in the morning or listing a few wins at night. Let this practice add a bit of lightness to your days. It's amazing how a small, consistent habit can make a big difference. And when life gets challenging, you'll find you have a deep well of positivity to draw from. Segment number 3, practical tips for shifting your mindset. Let's dive into some practical tips that can help you make this mindset shift from focusing on the negative to seeing the positive. If you've ever tried to change a habit, you know it takes consistency. But don't worry, these tips are simple to incorporate into your daily life. One thing I love to recommend is creating a positivity toolkit. Think of it as a go-to collection of things that make you feel good. This could be a playlist of your favorite songs, a folder on your phone with photos of people and places you love, or a few quotes that lift your spirits. When you're feeling down or stuck in a negative thought cycle, just reach for your toolkit. Daily affirmations are another great tool. These are simple statements you can repeat to remind yourself of what's good and true in your life. Try phrases like, I am capable of handling whatever comes my way, or there is something good in every day. Say these out loud in the morning and see how they set a positive tone for your day. Being one of our listeners shared that his positive toolkit includes a playlist of songs that always put him in a good mood. Whenever he has a stressful day, he puts on his headphones and listens to a few of those songs, and it always helps him feel better. Emma told me that she and her friends started a compliment circle. Once a week, they text each other something positive they've noticed or appreciate. It's a simple way to stay connected and lift each other up. Pick one of these tools to try this week, whether it's affirmations, a gratitude journal, or your positivity toolkit. Find something that resonates with you. These small changes can make a big impact over time, creating a new habit of looking for the positive. Now let's talk about some specific tools you can use to make this shift feel easier and more enjoyable. Remember, a mindset shift doesn't have to be an all or nothing thing. It's about building small, substantial practices that help train our minds to focus on the positive, especially during moments when it's all too easy to get caught up in a negative spiral. The ideal of a positive toolkit is such a helpful one because it's a personalized resource that you create for yourself. This is something that is just for you, filled with things that generally make you happy or calm you down when you're feeling stressed. Think about what naturally make you feel lighter, more joyful, and more centered. Gather those items in one accessible place. For example, a playlist of your favorite songs or soothing music is a powerful mood shifter that you can access anytime. Music has a unique way of connecting us to positive memories and emotions, and even a single song can turn a challenging day around. You could also include uplifting quotes or affirmations that resonate with you, words that remind you of your strength, resilience, and potential. Imagine strolling through these words when you need a quick mental boost. Another ideal is to keep a photo of people, places, or experiences that make you smile. Whenever you need a pick me up, just a quick glance at those photos can bring a positive feeling. Some people even keep a small object with them, like a meaningful charm or crystal, something that serves as a comforting reminder of stability and support. Daily affirmations are another fantastic addition to your toolkit. An affirmation is like a mini pep talk you give yourself. It's a way to counteract negative self talk and reframe it with a more positive message. Affirmations can be tailored to whatever you feel you need at the moment. For example, if you're feeling uncertain, try a statement like, I am capable of handling whatever comes my way. Or if you want to cultivate more gratitude, say, there is something good in every day, and I choose to find it. Saying these affirmations out loud in the morning sets a positive tone for the day and reinforces a mindset of strength and possibility. Over time, these affirmations become more than just words. They become beliefs that shape how we see ourselves and the world. You can also write them down on sticky notes and place them around your home or workspace for reminders throughout the day. Hearing from our listeners is inspiring to see how these practices have become anchors in their lives. Ben's story is a perfect example. His positivity toolkit includes a playlist that he turns to whenever he's feeling stressed. Music has an amazing way of shifting our mood almost instantly. And for Ben, his favorite songs lift him out of that negativity spiral. It's a reminder of how simple yet effective this tool can be. A little bit of intentional self care to lift our spirits. Emma's compliment circle with her friends is such a brilliant idea, right? By taking a few moments once a week to text each other something positive, she and her friends stay connected and build each other up. This is a great example of how we can integrate positivity into our social connections. Having friends or family members who are supportive and uplifting can make such a difference in maintaining a positive outlook. With so many options, start by choosing one tool that resonates with you. If a gratitude journal feels like the right fit, try jotting down a few things each day that you're grateful for. Or if affirmations sounds appealing, pick a few and start saying them every morning. The goal here isn't to use every single tool at once. It's about finding what fits naturally into your life and building from there. Over time, as these practices become habits, you may find yourself gravitating towards positivity without even thinking about it. You have a go-to set of tools that help you navigate life's ups and downs with a little more grace and optimism. Remember, each of these practices is a small but meaningful step towards a mindset shift, and every bit of positivity you cultivate adds up in many ways that truly impact your life. Segment 4: Staying positive in tough times. Now let's talk about staying positive when things get tough. We all have those times when life throws us a curveball, and it feels almost impossible to focus on anything but the challenge in front of us. How do we keep a positive mindset in those moments? First, let's be clear. This isn't about pretending everything is okay. Staying positive doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means finding a balance between facing challenges and choosing hope. During tough times, it can be grounding to focus on things we can control. Even if the situation is difficult, there are always small moments of comfort or hope to lean on. One thing that helps is building resilience through small positive rituals. Things like a daily walk, lighting a candle, or simply taking a few deep breaths to calm yourself. These small acts of self-care can keep us grounded, even when things feel overwhelming. Sarah recently lost her job, and she shared how hard it was to stay focused. But she made a habit of writing down one thing she was grateful for and one thing she looked forward to each day. This practice helped her stay hopeful and open to new possibilities. Jamie shared how he coped with the loss of a loved one. By focusing on beautiful memories and celebrating their life, he found some peace even in his grief. This helped him remember the love they shared and kept him connected to the positives, even in loss. If you're going through a challenging time, remember, it's okay to feel all your emotions, but try to find one small ritual or source of comfort to hold on to. These small acts can create space for positivity even in difficult times. Staying positive during tough times can feel like an uphill battle. When life throws us unexpected challenges, our natural response is often to focus on the problem, which makes sense. Challenges demand our attention and energy, and it's okay to feel the weight of those moments. But it's also possible to create space for positivity and even hope amidst difficulties. The goal here isn't to ignore the reality of our struggles, but to hold both, to acknowledge the hardship while also finding moments of light. Staying positive doesn't mean plastering a smile when things feel heavy. It's about keeping a sense of balance. It can be helpful to focus on things within our control, even if they're small. Often, when we're overwhelmed, our minds tend to spiral into what ifs scenarios or fixate on parts of the situation that we can't change. Bringing our attention back to what we can control, like taking a few moments for self care or organizing a small task, helps ground us. When we do this, we remind ourselves that despite everything, we still have agency over certain aspects of our lives. Even small gestures like preparing a comforting meal or cleaning up a small area of our home can make us feel just a bit more in control and provide a sense of calm. In times of stress, establishing small rituals can be incredibly powerful. Those don't need to be elaborate routines. They can be as simple as making a cup of tea, going for a short walk, or setting aside a few minutes for deep breathing. These rituals serve as anchors that bring us back to a state of calm and allow us to create moments of peace, no matter what else is going on. Daily rituals like a morning meditation or an evening reflection help reinforce resilience. It's about creating habits that gently remind us to return to a place of steadiness. When we practice these small rituals regularly, we're building a buffer of resilience. We're training our minds and bodies to return to a state of calm, which becomes invaluable when bigger challenges arise. Over time, these small practices become foundation, helping us bounce back a little easier from difficult situations. Our listener Sarah's story is a testament to this. After losing her job, she was honest about the difficulties of staying positive, but she committed to writing down one thing she was grateful for and one thing she looked forward to each day. This practice didn't eliminate the challenges she faced, but it did help her stay open to new possibilities. By focusing on gratitude and looking forward to something, even if small, she created a sense of purpose each day. Jamie's experience of coping with the loss of a loved one reminds us that positivity and grief can coexist. Rather than avoiding his grief, he focused on celebrating the beautiful memories they shared. This allowed him to find peace within his loss and keep a sense of connection to his loved one. In focusing on the joy and love that was shared, Jamie found a way to let gratitude and grief sit side by side. When facing difficult times, look for one small ritual or source of comfort that resonates within you. It could be anything: a brief meditation, a daily walk, reading something uplifting, or connecting with someone who supports you. These little habits don't erase the hardship, but they do create pockets of light that can help us feel grounded. It's also helpful to stay connected to loved ones. When we're going through tough times, it's natural to pull inward, but sharing what we're going through with someone we trust can be incredibly healing, whether it's a friend, family member, or support group. Simply talking about your experience helps you feel less isolated and reminds you that you're not alone. If you're going through a difficult time right now, remember that it's okay to feel all your emotions: grief, frustration, fear, or sadness. There's no need to push these feelings away, but try to give yourself moments to breathe too and look for those small pockets of positivity, whether it's a short gratitude practice or simply noticing the comfort of a warm cup of tea. These small acts create space for hope to enter, even during the hardest moments. As you navigate these times, know that positivity doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means finding balance. It's about holding space for difficulties while choosing to stay open to the light. Each small step, each small ritual helps us build resilience and opens us up to the possibility that even amidst the struggle, there's still beauty to be found. Segment 5, Recap and my call to action. As we wrap up today's episode, let's take a moment to bring it all together. We started by exploring the concept of negativity bias, which reminds us that our brains naturally gravitate towards focusing on the negative. Understanding this is a powerful first step, helping us become more aware of when we're zeroed in on what's wrong. And just recognizing this tendency makes it easier to catch ourselves and shift our focus. In segment 2, we talked about the amazing benefit of focusing on the positive. It's about giving ourselves the gift of resilience, joy, and a bit of lightness. Studies show that when we make an effort to highlight the good, we actually improve our overall well-being and experience more moments of gratitude, energy, and even stronger connections with others. Then in segment 3, we got practical. Yeah, we got practical. Diving into tips and tools for bringing positivity into our daily lives. And we all need that. Gratitude journals, positivity toolkits, and daily affirmations are simple ways to create lasting changes in mindset. Each of these practices serves as a gentle reminder that there's always something good to be found. In segment 4, we talked about staying positive even in tough times. Life can throw us difficult challenges, but keeping a positive outlook doesn't mean pretending everything is okay. It's about balancing hope and honesty. Simple rituals, moments of self-care, and staying connected to loved ones help us stay grounded and create space for positivity, even in darker moments. Now, here's where the action comes in. Choose one of these practices to try this week, whether it's starting a gratitude journal, building a positivity toolkit, or simply practicing a few affirmations. Share your experience with us on social media. And don't forget to rate and review the podcast if today's episode brought some positivity into your day. And if you have a friend who could use an extra dose of good energy, be sure to pass this episode along. Thank you for being part of this journey to focus on what's right. Remember, every day is a new chance to choose your focus. Keep choosing the good and watch as it brings more light and joy into your life. Until next time, this is Sunshine, signing off.